In the cold, unforgiving waters off the coast of Nova Scotia, there's a place where treasure hunters have come to seek riches, only to find themselves swallowed by a dark and ancient curse. For centuries, Oak Island has drawn adventurers, each with their own story, each seeking the elusive treasure rumored to be buried deep within its earth. But the island has a secret, one that has claimed lives, ruined fortunes, and broken spirits. The treasure or the curse? No one really knows. And perhaps that is the darkest mystery of all. Why does Oak Island continue to haunt the dreams of those who dare to dig? Could the treasure be a trap? A force of ancient evil, waiting to consume anyone who dares disturb it? This is the story of Oak Island, a place where the line between legend and reality blurs, and where the past refuses to stay buried. The year was 1795 when a young man named Daniel McGinnis first set foot on Oak Island. A seasoned treasure hunter with the ambition of a king, McGinnis had heard the stories that circulated about the island, the whispers of a hidden fortune buried deep within its soil, waiting for someone daring enough to claim it. Many had tried before him and failed, but McGinnis had something that they didn't, an unshakable belief that treasure awaited beneath the island's eerie soil. Armed with nothing but his curiosity, McGinnis discovered what would become known as the Money Pit, a deep, mysterious hole that appeared to have been dug by no ordinary means. The pit was perfectly circular, leading down into the earth as if someone had intended to hide something of great value. Alongside the pit, McGinnis found strange, unfamiliar markings on trees, leading him to believe that he was not the first to uncover this dark secret. But the temptation of wealth clouded his better judgment, and he couldn't resist. He had to know what lay at the bottom. With hopes high, McGinnis enlisted help and set to work digging. As they lowered the tools into the pit, the soil seemed almost reluctant to give way. It was as if something within the earth was resisting their efforts. But McGinnis, filled with the thrill of discovery, pressed on, determined to uncover the treasure that lay buried. But then, the strange occurrences began. The deeper they dug, the more unsettling the air around them seemed to become. It wasn't just the eerie silence that blanketed the island. It was as though the ground itself was alive, watching them. Each night, they would return to the site to find strange symbols carved into the dirt surrounding the pit. Symbols that none of them could recognize. Was it a warning? Or something worse? McGinnis had opened Pandora's box. And the island wasn't finished with him yet. As McGinnis and his team continued to dig, the strange occurrences escalated. What started as an unsettling feeling in the air soon became something more sinister. It was as if the island itself was alive, reacting to their every move. The pit seemed to be a magnet for misfortune, drawing an inexplicable series of events that would turn the treasure hunt into a living nightmare. The first casualty came swiftly. A worker named John Smith, one of McGinnis's closest friends, had been part of the crew for only a week before disaster struck. One evening, as the men were preparing to pack up for the night, Smith vanished without a trace. His belongings were left behind, and the camp was in complete disarray. No sign of struggle, no footprints leading away from the site. It was as though Smith had simply disappeared into thin air. The locals whispered about the curse, a legend that had haunted Oak Island for generations. They said the treasure was guarded by something far worse than mere pirates or bandits. An ancient force, a curse that claimed anyone who dared to stir the island's secrets. Yet McGinnis, gripped by his obsession, refused to acknowledge the mounting fear. He and his remaining men continued their work, despite the increasing danger. But the curse was relentless. The next incident occurred just days later. As the crew attempted to dig deeper into the pit, they struck a hidden chamber, an eerie, hollow space. The joy of discovery was short-lived, however. That night, as the men celebrated, a terrible storm rolled in. The winds howled, and lightning struck with terrifying frequency, as if the heavens themselves were angry. The next morning, the pit had flooded completely. The entrance to the chamber was submerged underwater, and the treasure they had sought for so long seemed more elusive than ever. And it wasn't just the pit that seemed to have a hold on them. Soon, the men started experiencing hallucinations, visions of dark figures in the distance, shadowy shapes lurking at the edges of their camp. Some said they saw the ghostly figure of a man walking slowly toward the pit, only to vanish as quickly as he had appeared. One by one, McGinnis's team fell victim to the island's curse. But McGinnis, consumed by the desire for treasure, pressed on. What was waiting for him at the bottom of the pit? Was it riches, or something far worse? Despite the early deaths and the increasing rumors of a curse, the story of Oak Island was far from over. As the years passed, the legend only grew, attracting new generations of treasure hunters determined to unravel the mystery. By the 20th century, the island had become a focal point for thrill seekers and scholars alike, each eager to discover what lay beneath the earth. But every attempt to break the island's curse was met with failure. In the 1960s, a new wave of treasure hunters arrived, led by a team of engineers, archaeologists, and even a few locals who believed that the secret of Oak Island was more than just folklore. They used modern technology, hoping to outsmart the ancient forces that had thwarted so many before them. They drilled deeper into the money pit, using advanced machinery to reach the rumored treasure. But the deeper they dug, the more strange occurrences followed. It was during this excavation that the first of the more bizarre events began to unfold. Workers reported hearing voices at night, whispers that seemed to rise from the very depths of the pit. Some claimed to have seen shadows moving in the surrounding woods, while others swore that they felt unseen hands brush against their skin. Yet, the most chilling discovery came when they unearthed a strange stone tablet, engraved with symbols that appeared to match no known language. The tablet was mysteriously found deep within the pit, but no one could decipher its meaning. As the team worked tirelessly to translate it, they began to notice something eerie. With each attempt to uncover the truth, a series of inexplicable accidents seemed to follow. A worker fell from a scaffolding, equipment malfunctioned, and the deeper they ventured, the more they lost their sense of direction, as if the island was steering them away from the truth. The treasure that lay beneath Oak Island seemed to be both a prize and a punishment. Each new attempt to uncover it brought only more tragedy. The modern hunters were not immune to the curse. The island's dark history was repeating itself, and those who thought they could escape it were only drawing closer to the inevitable end. As the years rolled on, the mysteries surrounding Oak Island only deepened. With each failed attempt to uncover its secrets, treasure hunters became more desperate, and theories about the origin of the treasure began to multiply. Was Oak Island hiding something more valuable than gold? Or was the treasure a mere symbol, something far darker and more ancient? Some believe the treasure was the horde of pirates who had sailed the Atlantic in the 17th century. This idea gained traction when historians uncovered that the notorious pirate Captain Kidd had frequented the area. Legends told of a great fortune buried deep within the island, hidden away after Kidd's ill-fated escape from authorities. Yet, despite decades of excavations, no pirate treasure was ever uncovered. Could it have been washed away, or perhaps buried deeper than anyone had imagined? Other theories pointed to the involvement of the Knights Templar, those mysterious crusaders who were said to have hidden valuable artifacts after fleeing persecution in Europe. The possibility that Oak Island had been a secret resting place for the Templars' most sacred relics, like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant, gained traction with each new excavation. As the treasure hunters dug deeper into the island, some of the artifacts they discovered seemed to hint at this theory. The strange symbols on the stone tablet found in the money pit matched Templar iconography. Was this a deliberate clue left behind by the Templars themselves? Yet another theory, perhaps even darker than the rest, suggested the involvement of Freemasons. Some believe the island had been a site of ancient rituals, a place where dark forces were harnessed by secret societies. The symbols found at various points on the island seemed to align with the mysterious symbology of the Freemasons. Was it possible that Oak Island's curse was not just the result of greed, but of rituals that had gone terribly wrong? Whatever the truth, the island seemed to be guarding its secret fiercely. The more the treasure hunters dug, the more elusive the answers became. Each new theory only led to more questions. And with each question, the island's grip on those who sought its treasure grew tighter. As the theories about Oak Island multiplied, so did the strange, inexplicable occurrences that surrounded each new excavation. It wasn't just the mystery of the treasure anymore. It was the island itself. There was something about Oak Island that seemed to possess a malevolent force, something far beyond human understanding. Each new discovery appeared to bring with it more misfortune, as if the island was pushing back against those who sought to reveal its secrets. The workers, who had once been eager and hopeful, now found themselves plagued by anxiety and dread. The island's strange grip on them became undeniable. Even the most seasoned treasure hunters began to speak of an eerie feeling they could not shake, as though the island was alive and watching. Many of them reported strange dreams at night. Vivid, terrifying visions of figures from the past, their faces obscured by shadow. In these dreams, they were often warned to leave, but each time they awoke, they were drawn back to the pit, as though something was compelling them to keep going. As the team began to dig deeper, they encountered something that left them utterly shaken. What appeared to be an ancient, submerged tunnel system, leading from the money pit to a series of underground chambers. The tunnel itself seemed to resist their efforts, as if something was actively preventing them from entering. Every time they tried to break through, their equipment malfunctioned, and the tunnel appeared to collapse on itself, as though the earth itself was pushing back against them. It was during these attempts that the most disturbing event occurred. One evening, as a group of workers prepared to descend into the pit once more, they were startled by a strange noise, an eerie, deep rumbling that seemed to emanate from the very core of the island. Some described it as a growl, others as a whisper, but all agreed it was a sound unlike anything they had ever heard before. Panic spread through the group, and many of them abandoned the site, certain that the island was trying to tell them something. But even as they fled, they couldn't shake the feeling that something ancient and powerful was watching them from beneath the earth. The unease surrounding Oak Island had reached a boiling point, but it wasn't just the haunting whispers or the strange accidents that spooked the treasure hunters. Something far darker had begun to emerge. After decades of failed attempts, and with each new attempt to uncover the treasure, those who dared to continue digging found themselves deeper in the island's web of mystery and danger. The island was no longer just a site of a lost treasure. It had become a place where history itself seemed to fight back against the intrusion of the present. In 1971, one of the most chilling events occurred. As a new team arrived on the island, eager to tackle the challenges that had plagued those before them, they made a breakthrough. A strange, deep, iron door locked shut beneath the soil. Unlike any other discovery, this door seemed to carry an unsettling weight, as if it had been buried with a purpose, perhaps to keep something in, or to keep something out. They spent days attempting to open it, but the door wouldn't budge, no matter how many tools or forces they applied. Then, one night, after another round of fruitless attempts, something changed. Several workers began reporting disturbing experiences. Their tools went missing. Strange symbols appeared on the walls of the pit, and one worker even claimed to see shadows moving inside the iron chamber. The team pressed on, determined to break through, but that's when the true power of Oak Island began to reveal itself. As the workers dug deeper, the island's curse, previously an unspoken legend, became undeniable. The underground chambers were not just sealed off by earth and stone. They were protected by something far older. The more the team attempted to break through, the more the island fought back. In one of the most bizarre twists, a worker named Frank, who had been digging closest to the door, suddenly disappeared. He was last seen standing next to the door, a look of horror on his face, before vanishing without a trace. No evidence, no sign of struggle, just an empty hole, as if he had been absorbed by the island itself. The curse of Oak Island was not merely a superstition. It was a warning that had been there all along, written in the earth, in the whispers of the past. The deeper they dug, the more they began to realize the treasure was never meant to be found. Despite the darkness that hung over Oak Island, the allure of the treasure was undeniable. Even after countless tragedies, strange disappearances, and unexplained phenomena, the island continued to draw treasure hunters from across the world. The promise of wealth was too great, and the curse, as horrifying as it seemed, only added to the mystery. By the early 21st century, a new group of adventurers arrived, equipped with the latest technology and a renewed determination to uncover the island's secrets. But as they dug deeper, it became clear that Oak Island's grip on those who sought its treasure had not loosened. It had only grown stronger. The modern-day treasure hunters, equipped with satellite images, sonar scans, and drilling equipment, began where their predecessors had failed, at the money pit. This time, they were determined to uncover the treasure, no matter the cost. As they conducted their first survey, the results were startling. Beneath the island's soil, they discovered a network of underground tunnels, some of which appeared to be man-made. The possibility of finding something substantial seemed real, but with each new discovery, something far more disturbing occurred. The crew began to experience the same unease as those who had come before them. Workers began hearing unsettling noises at night, deep, guttural sounds coming from the pit itself. Some reported feeling a strange, cold presence watching them as they worked. And like the teams before them, the island fought back. Machinery malfunctioned with alarming frequency. Drill bits snapped, and cables snapped mysteriously, as if the earth itself rejected their efforts. Workers started to fall ill for reasons no one could explain, suffering from nausea, dizziness, and terrifying dreams of ancient figures. But the most unsettling discovery came when one of the crew members, working alone late one evening, found a strange artifact near the pit. A stone resembling a primitive key, inscribed with cryptic symbols. It looked out of place, as if it had been waiting there for centuries. The key seemed to pulse with energy, and the moment it was touched, a cold wind rushed through the camp, extinguishing their lights. In the eerie silence that followed, they heard a voice, faint and distant, whispering through the darkness. The treasure seekers had unwittingly disturbed something ancient. The island's curse wasn't just a story. It was alive, and it wasn't about to let anyone leave. As the years went by, the treasure hunters' obsession with Oak Island reached a fever pitch. What had once been a hopeful pursuit of fortune had become something darker, something all-consuming. The crew members, once eager and full of ambition, found themselves lost in the mystery of the island, driven not just by the desire for wealth, but by an inexplicable force that seemed to pull them deeper into the island's grasp. The more they uncovered, the more the island resisted, yet the more they felt compelled to press forward. The toll was evident in the growing emotional strain on the team. Relationships began to fray. Workers who had once been close friends now found themselves arguing over insignificant matters. There was a palpable sense of dread that hung over the camp. Some began to talk about leaving, but the moment they mentioned the idea, they felt an overwhelming sense of terror. Something would prevent them from leaving, as if the island was determined to keep them there, trapped in its curse. But it wasn't just emotional strain. The physical toll was even more alarming. One of the team members, after weeks of feeling unwell, was rushed to the hospital with a mysterious illness. Doctors couldn't find a diagnosis, but they suspected the cause was exposure to something toxic within the island's soil. Others began to experience the same symptoms: headaches, dizziness, and an overwhelming sense of exhaustion that no amount of rest could cure. The team was falling apart, and yet they couldn't stop. The pull of the treasure, the lure of the unknown, was too strong. As their obsession deepened, their personal lives began to unravel. Families were torn apart, finances were drained, and some of the workers found themselves in a state of near madness. One night, a crew member named David broke down, sobbing uncontrollably, muttering that the island was alive and would never let them leave. He claimed to have heard voices in the wind, telling him that the treasure was not for them to find. But he was dismissed as delusional, just another casualty of the island's curse. The deeper they dug, the more they realized the cost of this obsession was far greater than they could ever have imagined. But even as the curse tightened its grip, they couldn't turn back. Oak Island had them now. As the modern-day treasure hunters pressed on, the island's curse became undeniable. The island, with its ominous history and unrelenting forces, had claimed everything it could from them. Yet, the treasure that lay beneath remained out of reach. After years of excavation, and with lives shattered and families destroyed, a sense of finality began to settle over the team. But the island had one last, horrifying surprise waiting for them. It was during the final phase of their excavation when the team made their most unexpected discovery. As they drilled deep into the pit, they hit something that didn't seem like treasure. It wasn't gold, jewels, or artifacts. It was a stone structure, a large slab buried beneath layers of earth, inscribed with the same cryptic symbols that had appeared throughout the island. The moment the stone was uncovered, a deafening rumble shook the ground, and the island seemed to come alive, as if it were waking from a long slumber. For a moment, everything went quiet. The team members stared in disbelief at the stone, their hearts pounding. They had expected treasure, but this was something far darker. The air around them felt charged, thick with an unexplainable energy. As they examined the stone, one of the workers, an experienced archaeologist named Mark, reached out to touch the surface. The moment his fingers brushed against it, a sharp, cold wind swept through the camp, extinguishing their lights and plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as the sound of footsteps echoed around them. They were not alone. Suddenly, they heard the whispers, the same whispers that had tormented those before them. The island was alive with voices. Voices of those who had come before, those who had failed to uncover the secrets of Oak Island. The whispers grew louder, becoming screams, as if the island itself was trying to force them away. The team scrambled to escape, but they could feel it, a presence, something ancient and powerful, closing in around them. One by one, they fled into the night, their dreams of treasure shattered. And as they left Oak Island behind, they couldn't shake the feeling that the island had claimed them, just as it had claimed all who had come before. The curse was not merely a story, it was a warning. Oak Island would never let go, and the treasure would remain buried forever. The tale of Oak Island is one that transcends time, an eerie, unforgettable mystery wrapped in layers of history, legend, and tragedy. Over the centuries, countless adventurers have dared to dig into its cursed soil, hoping to uncover a treasure that promises untold riches. But each one, without fail, has paid a terrible price. Some have lost their lives, others their sanity, and still, the treasure remains elusive, buried deep beneath the island's dark earth, as if it too is a prisoner to the curse that surrounds it. But why? What is the true nature of Oak Island's curse? Is it a force born of greed, an ancient evil tied to the treasure itself? Or is it something even darker, an unyielding reminder of the price of obsession and the depths to which mankind will sink in pursuit of power? One thing is certain, Oak Island will never let go. Its secrets remain locked away, its curse continuing to claim those who dare to disturb its soil. The treasure that many seek is not just a symbol of riches. It's a symbol of mankind's inability to resist the allure of the unknown, no matter the cost. So, as you reflect on the dark legacy of Oak Island, ask yourself, what would you do if faced with the same temptation? Would you continue to search, no matter the consequences? Or would you walk away, knowing that some mysteries are best left buried? If you enjoyed this dark tale, be sure to subscribe and join us for more chilling stories of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. Share this story with others and let them in on the secrets of Oak Island. Who knows what they might uncover next? And as always, keep searching, for the truth is never as simple as it seems.